Is the Democratic nominee for Senate in Kentucky. He'll face Republican Rand Paul in November. Congratulations, Governor. You won that tough fight from Margiotto. Let me ask you this. What do you got on, to put it bluntly, you must have your notion of beating Rand Paul. What's your best case that he's outside the mainstream, that he's too flaky, too Tea Party, whatever? What would you say?
I would say just look at the statements he's made here in the last few weeks, Chris. He has stated that he would like to repeal the Civil Rights Act of 1964. He said that he would like to repeal the Americans with Disabilities Act and let the private marketplace take care of it. In a state like Kentucky, he wants to do away with the Department of Agriculture, wants to do away with the Department of Education. That's not what Kentuckians want. I mean, Kentuckians are angry like the rest of the country. They have fear. They have anxiety. They're concerned about jobs. But I'm frustrated too, Chris, and I think the central question here is, how do we use that passion? How do we use that anger? Do we use it to heat the building, or do we use it to burn the building down?
Well, you know, you just said something so incredible to me, having grown up during it. You're saying that this fella running for Senate from Kentucky, the United States Senate, wants to repeal the Civil Rights Act, which says you can't deny an African American a chance to use your bathroom at a gas station. You can't deny him the right to sit at your lunch table, your lunch counter. You're saying he wants to get rid of that law and let people be discriminatory again?
He made a statement in his editorial board interview with the Louisville Courier-Journal, Chris, said that we don't need a Civil Rights Act, that the Commerce Clause was interpreted too broadly, and that the private marketplace could take care of the civil rights needs of this nation. He said something to that effect. It's on a streaming video of the Louisville Courier-Journal. And Kentucky's come a long way. We have people who have bled and fought for the right to sit at lunch counters, for example, and that's not going to be acceptable in a place like Kentucky, and it's not going to be acceptable across the country.
Let's talk about the President of the United States, Barack Obama. Is he a help to you in this coming November election?
Well, I think I'm going to have to win this election. I don't think Barack Obama is going to be able to win this election in Kentucky. I understand that Rand Paul is going to taunt, and he's going to ask how many times Obama's coming in. I think you welcome the President of the United States from either party anytime he wants to come to your state. If you disagree with him, you tell him that. But I'm going to have to go out and win this election, and I'm going to be an independent Kentucky Democrat if I get elected.
What's this say about the power of your state? I was trying to figure out Kentucky. It's always an interesting state. I think it's a bit more Republican than Democrat historically, at least the last 50 years. But what's this whole crazy fight in the Republican Party in your state where Mitch McConnell dumps Jim Bunning, and then the people who vote in the Republican side, who will vote in your election, they dump Trey Grayson? All this dumping going on. They're getting rid of everybody. Yeah, well, they don't like Mitch McConnell much either, apparently. They like Trey. They like the guy you're running against more than they like Mitch McConnell, according to the polling last night.
Kentuckians are fiercely independent. You know, Kentucky's traditionally been a Democratic state. It still enjoys almost a 2-to-1 advantage in registration Democrats over Republicans. They're just the conservative Democrats, particularly in the western part of the state, that Mitch McConnell helped engineer a change where they're voting Republican in federal elections. The majority of our state office holders are still Democratic. So yeah. I think you have a lot of Republicans that may be recently registered or recently switched, or just didn't want to be told how to vote by Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's been in Washington now since 1984. He is the epitome of the establishment, and I just don't think that his endorsement meant much in this particular race. And then you have the phenomenon of Sarah Palin coming in and endorsing my opponent in the general, and then you have Jim Bunning sticking it to Mitch McConnell. So they've got a lot of healing to do over on the other side of the aisle.
You know, I grew up when there were moderate Republicans or centrist Republicans in your state, and now the Tea Party's taken. I think of Thurston Morton. I used to love Thurston Morton growing up. He was a real personality. You just liked him no matter what his politics were.
And people like Marlo Cook, too.
And John Sherman Cooper. And are they all gone and dead? Is that Republican Party just been swamped now by the Tea Partiers?
I think so. I think the idea of the liberal to moderate Republican is long gone for the most part in places like in Kentucky. A lot of the business establishment, the business Republicans, as I call them, in the cities, consider themselves now to be independents or vote both ways. Yeah. So I think it's changed considerably.
Well, you know, you got a good argument there against. I didn't know that about Rand Paul. I now know it. If he's against the civil rights bill and wants to get rid of it, he's not on my list of favorites for my Christmas card this year. Anyway, thank you, Jack Conway. Congratulations on winning the nomination to fight Rand Paul. It's going to be one of the national races we watch night after night here. Thank you so much. Congratulations again.
Good to be with you again, Chris.
Our strategists on what it will take to beat the Tea Party in Kentucky and how